Okay, so this is going to be my first attempt at recording an actual video. So hello. Yeah, so I've been streaming Imperator the past few days, and I had a run game going where we conquered about all of this parts of Italy, from like here down. And we have a Tartessia game going where I conquered this region mostly, or like this part. But for this, since this, if I get this working, it's probably going up on YouTube. We're gonna be playing something different. By that I mean we're gonna play the Diodaki. Diodaki. Forgive my horrible pronunciation. My Greek is non-existent. I know a bit of Latin, but before we start though, game feels really loud. So, there Marius was the gates of Carthage, and Carthage should be able Marius might well have offered consolation from one to the other. No friend ever served me, and no enemy ever wronged me, who I have not repaid in full. Not sure. Caesar lived. Granted, he was just like a 14-year-old kid and not really an enemy, but still counts. Principle still stands. So, we are probably playing... What is actually the difference between these? They all have... Okay, no. For a second there, I thought they all had diplomatic. Neutral manpower. We are playing Macedon. Because we're playing on the Cicero beta. And one thing they added is when we see in the game, if I go to my characters, I go to Cassander, or Cassandros, and then he is of course married to Thessaloniki, namesake of the modern day city of Thessalonica in Greece, fun fact. Cassander actually renamed it for her. And we go, she's, as you can see here, she has blood of the Argives because she is Alexander the Great's sister. And they actually added that trait to her kids. So if you play as Cassandros, or Macedon, you actually can restore the empire as the descendants of Alexander, which is kind of nice. Yeah, here's Thessalonica right here. And then Cassandrea, which is not nearly as famous, but is the one he named after himself. Alright, so we're gonna start off by signing people. We only have, how many families do we have? We have quite a few, but a couple are just single person. And then, so we have this point. Excuse me. I don't know why, but I'm yawning a lot again. We'll come back to that. So as Macedon, we don't actually have any like fancy decisions like some of the others do. Some of the other Diadochi do, like. Egypt gets to build the lighthouse and then restore various things. Seleucids have something to do with Babylon, if I remember correctly. Like, and then I think Phrygia has the ability to like the Temple of Ephesus, the mausoleum at Ephesus. No, mausoleum at Halicarnassus, which is next to Ephesus. There we go. Gotta do things right. Okay, so duly noted, we cannot actually advance into the south without massive attrition problems. Because the mountains. So we are going to go after Epirus, but we're not going to go after it yet. Because in a couple years, Epirus is going to have an event where Pyrrhus gets ousted. I want to wait for that to take over, to happen, because Pyrrhus is a really good general, and it's annoying when the AI has really good generals. Okay, so we're gonna take that. We're going to convert Fabricated Claim on you guys. So we can't actually, as much as we want to, we can't actually go after Boeotia or the Hellas proper. We because they are guaranteed by Phrygia, and I do not want to tangle with Antigonus yet. Because we can't... recreating the Battle of Five Kings is pretty difficult in this game. The Battle of Five Kings being Battle of Ipsos, where Antigonus fell in battle, and his empire ended up being divided up between Cassander, Lysimachus, and mostly Seleucus, but Ptolemy kind of got screwed out of the deal, but he kind of swiped stuff anyways, namely this bit, which was actually allotted to Seleucus for Seleucus's incredible shenanigans. Oh wow, the deal already happened. The Marian. Okay. These claims will go away on the death of our brothers. Excuse me. That statement there where it talks about Antigona or Cassandra's killing the heirs of Alexander is not technically true. Well, half true, half isn't. One of the heirs, Aridaeus, who was Alexander's brother, who was known to be mentally incapable. I mean that in that literal sense. He is noted to have been severely handicapped. He was actually murdered by Alexander's mother, Olympias, who Cassander killed. Alexander the Fourth, however, Cassander did eventually have murdered. But that has not yet happened. So I do believe he is not actually. Alexander the Fourth is not actually in the game, so might as well be dead for the purposes of this game. So we are gonna expand after these guys first. So I'm fabricating on this one, but if you notice, he has a defensive league of all of these guys, which will actually give us a backdoor into taking Boeotia. without having to go to war with Antigonus just yet. Because they all one of the mechanics of this game that I actually really like, even though it can be a pain in the ass when you're trying to expand, is the defensive league, where small nations like these, it's a thing available only to the lowest rank of nations, which is local power. Local power, where they can band together as a defensive coalition to protect each other. The other oratory ideas are not particularly helpful at the moment, so. This will happen again in 61, so in 10 years. Okay. Currently, it will speed up as we go. So, going into Laconia, and Archaea, the Peloponnese, more properly, is going to be a pain, because, well, there's Sparta, which isn't too big a threat, actually, but it's just all of these little guys combined are a pain in the ass to deal with. We eventually want to go for Crete, possibly Rhodes later on. Though going against Rhodes puts us into that area. Prime formulas granted to veterans of battle is a simple recognition of their service to Macedon. Sometimes, however, the lure of battles and glory can be too much for those unaccustomed to a life of menial labor. Recent bad winters caused those working the fields to up and leave. That's a problem. Hoping to find better work in our armies. Okay. We gain 2,000 manpower, which is kind of irrelevant. Lower in rust and more tax. Okay. So, as Macedon, we don't have the money resources that the other Seleucids, or the other Diadochi do, especially Egypt and the Seleucids, who are like raking in the money. But what we do have is an inordinately large manpower pool for our size, because that is the greatest export of Greece in this period, was soldiers. The mercenary market, as it's called in various books and sources, was a huge cornerstone of Greece and its economy during this period, because Greece is comparatively not as rich in resources as like the Middle East, the Levant, Egypt, and so on. And so they would they essentially made their worth by selling soldiers, which is why you would see, like, in Alexander's battles with Darius, the core of the Persian infantry would actually be Greek mercenaries. So they did actually sell this. So where is that? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so so Seleucus at the beginning of the game has a deal, he has an event where he chooses whether or not to honor his deal with Chandragupta, because just before the game starts, they had fought a very, very brief war, which Seleucid lost, spoilers, because he went into it expecting India to be the same way as when he was last there under Alexander, which was fragmented and just sort of squabbling. But what he got was the Mauryans, because soon after Alexander left, Chandragupta rose up and united northern India under the Mauryan Empire, that what became the Mauryan Empire. And so when Seleucid returned, he found, instead of a bunch of squabbling princedoms all in here, this. And so the war was it's not very well documented, but to our understanding, it was very brief and very much not in the favor of the Macedonians. So Seleucus ended up making a deal with Chandragupta where he would cede the Indian lands back, but in exchange he would get a lasting peace treaty, and also a sizable number of elephants. If I remember correctly, it was something around the number of 500 or so, enough to create a breeding population, which is why in the event, when you get it as Seleucus, you trade these provinces and these provinces, which are honestly worth nothing, and you get 5 regiments of elephants, and then Opus over here begins to produce elephants, which is a huge boon, because otherwise you have to import them from India, which for a lot of factions is just not practical. So the Seleucids getting the ability to just recruit elephants is really nice. Okay, so our fabrication is almost done. And then we're going to want to start fabricating on Epirus, because if you notice, Pyrrhus is no longer in charge. Neoptolemus had him ousted, as is the event. Pyrrhus goes to Phrygia because, oh, he's married. Interesting. Because if we go to Antigonus, we go to that is odd. I guess they did not do the event where Pyrrhus' sister marries Demetrius. That's interesting. The opening of Imperator tends to be rather slow because fabricating takes a while. Before this patch, it wasn't remotely slow because fabrication was instantaneous, but they changed how the things work, which is why you see the placeholders up here, placeholder symbols. Alright, so we have started the war, and we're starting to siege down their cities. Oh, Mr. Attacks. Where are you? Very. Kind of screwed this up, but we'll recover. Now race is coming down and now things even up. My cat. My cat says hello. Pirates. Ooh. Oh, the Olympic Games. Once more, the renowned Olympic Games are due to occur in the city of Olympia. Oh wow, this is super loud. Give me 1 sec. There we go. We'll send them there. What's actually kind of funny is every time I get that event, rather amusingly, it's Purist that wins, because every time so far, Phrygia gets Purist as their choice to send, and he just wins every time. It's weird. We'll see if that happens this time. Now that I've mentioned it, to talk about it, probably won't. Okay, so that is over. So we're gonna send you to there. No, there. We're going to take Cassander, and the rest we're going to take this city. Paeonia, okay. Yep, you take over. Set with phalanx. Oh. Xenocrates Pythiad of Heraea. Nice. Balakros of Rhegium almost flew past the finishing line, careening into the watching crowd amidst its cries of jubilation. Nice. Yeah, so we're gonna have these islands taken. Curiosity. Yeah. there's another Olympus. Interesting. Meow. Meow. Cat, I'm in the middle of doing something, okay? Once we take this city, though, we will be able to march against. Hi. Yes, hello, cat. Oops. Yeah, there's thieves. The Oracle of Delphi. We have the money to burn. Close. We're once this arrives, we're gonna get it. We're already winning, but yeah, now we're gonna. Yep, we beat the pirates. That's nice, and yeah, there we go. Now that those armies have broken, you can start the siege. Where is my fleet? Oh, there's my fleet. Hello, cat. He's insisting on saying hello, I guess. Yeah, once we take this, I'm not really. Yeah, I am at war, but I don't want to overextend myself too far, just because this is a hornet's nest that I don't want to kick at the moment. So we're just gonna take this, and once that we're at 72. So once this siege is out, and then we get this, and then we obviously get to claim on this, because unlike in EU4, when you control a fort, it doesn't just unsiege things around you, it does siege things around it for you, which is convenient. Or side with the guy that likes me the least. So that way they both like me about equal, you know? So this is the white peace timer. It's not gonna matter for this because we've taken what we want and we're gonna peace out in a moment. Yep, there. Oh, we own that. Okay. Put everyone to the sword. That's how we roll. And then we're gonna mark. You should be isolated now, yeah. Yeah. You have. I'm not particularly worried by that, actually. So we're gonna move our fleet over. Activate the Blessing of Ares. We're going to grab that. We're gonna grab that because that mitigates one of our debuffs for being Macedon. Because Epirus now, all its allies are here, are on across the Aegean. So with our fleet, which is significantly better than anything they have access to at the moment, we'll be able to just attack and then take this. Liking us. Alright, now off to war we go. Cassandra's the silver-tongued. Nice. The other reason why we want to attack Epirus quickly is because the Epirot army at the start is not very good, but that can be fixed, as it was historically. The following insult. Go away. You fight like a goat herder. Okay, Lysimachus. That's nice. Oh, shit. Pyrrhus is back. We timed it badly. I was hoping to, like, do this in between the events of Pyrrhus getting kicked out and Pyrrhus coming back. But it appears I done screwed up. Oh well. I mean, we can just recruit Pyrrhus into the faction now, into our nation now. Pass judgment on the important balance. We will welcome Akidai. Because you don't have any problems. Your family's dead, basically. Hi, yes, hello, cat. How the rescue survive? Cool. Why do you not like me? Lysimachus not liking me is kind of an issue. Okay, so now we've secured, well, we've secured Greece, but it's, to the classical Greek mind, we do not actually own Greece. Yeah. Cool. Let me go back to doing your thing. We'll be fabricating a plan of them just so we can take Kokira. Oh, the Olympic Games. Yes. So if you're wondering what these armies are on the map, they are mercenaries. I can hire them at any point. And instead of hiring like a unit of mercenaries like in EU4 or whatever, you hire an army under a general who you can see the stats, the composition of the army, the price, and the general with his associated military stat, martial stat there. Corinth has expanded. Nice. Yeah, which is this right here. So we do actually have a foothold in the Peloponnese. Okay, we do have a fort there. Yeah, so Thrace goes after us. We will eventually integrate Eulovia. Oh! Persia! Ah, Antigonus died, so looks like they had a split off. Aeolia. The Attalids? Huh. Interesting. Other little fun thing. We go over here. The Achaemenids still exist. They rule in Bithynia or Heraclea Pontica. I keep wanting to say Bithynia Pontica. What about you? You are at war with Rhodes. Okay, so you're doing the naval thing. Colchis, Siraculegia, Trapezos, and Phasis. Okay, so you're, like, expanding... They don't have a current wars ledger. We're just gonna grab all of these real quick. The brothers Antipatrid. Okay. Lately, the brothers Philippus and Antipatros, sons of Basilius Cassandros the First, Antipatrid, which means son of Antiper, have become increasingly aggressive and competitive, going so far as to scrap in public and shout obscenities at each other during official functions. Oh dear. Clearly, a rivalry between the siblings has been growing. Yeah, just stop being idiots. Oh, fratricide. Okay. Spears of Dawn. These are how real kings are made. Okay, so down here we're fortified to high health. Buried hatchets. The bitter rivalry between the brothers Philippus and Antipatros has finally evaded. Only took them like 3 more attempts. It seems they have much... Yeah, let's get that going. Paris. Go forth. Time to conquer Clocaira. Because I don't want to have to deal with that being an issue. Might as well have Cassandra back him up, just because the army's gonna meander off when we take the city. Village things advance, yes, nice. Oratory advance, martial advances advance. Pirates. Okay. No. Apparently too disorganized to go to war just yet. Ah, here we are. Since we are Greeks and thus going to be using heavy infantry a lot, that seems like a good option. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Go, Pyrrhus. Yeah, sure. I'm going to do that just to lower the costs a bit. And we just keep doing this dance until we take the city, I guess. There we go, where that happens. Finally, stack weight. Question is, has Thunderbolt... No, Thunderbolt... Oh, he's loyal. Interesting. This is, Karanos means Thunderbolt. He's Ptolemy the Thunderbolt. I don't have the money for that. And then there's, of course, Antiochus, who looks extraordinarily smug. Don't know why. And then good old Antigonus. Antigone. Who would actually end up rolling Macedon. The line of Cassander kind of kills itself off soon after he died. Really? I can type, I promise. There. Nope. Nope. Let's see. How close are we to being able to start integration? Only like a couple months. 1 month, actually. '67, so they'll happen in 5 years. Yeah. This spacebar just does not want to work. Why are you guys standing in attrition? That's dumb. Don't do that. Fuck off, pirates. Alright. Athens. Nope, you're still protected by them. Great. You are not, though. We could go after Thebes. Let's go. I think I'm going to stop the recording here. This seems like a good spot since we've just united most of Macedon, and then, well, we united Macedon and Epirus, and then we can move on to the rest. So I will pick this up. Probably going to record another video right after this, but this one will end.